Okay everyone, so welcome to lecture once again, and in my last lecture I was able to create a chunks of a data. So I have taken my own custom data, and out of that I was able to create my own chunk of the data. Now in this lecture I'm going to show you that how we can try to perform this particular step, embedding step. I believe we have already done that in a lecture number 1. So where I was using a EURI embeddings, and out of that I was able to convert my data into a vector space of dimension 1536. Means any data you are going to pass, right? Any data you are going to pass, it is going to return you what? It is going to return you a numerical vector. Yeah, it is going to return you vector, by the way. Obviously vector will be having a numerical values. So it is going to return you the vector, and the size of that vector is going to be 1536 again. So that depends upon a use of the model. So if I'm going to change my model, so again vector size is going to be different. It is not going to be same. So now in this step, what I'm going to do is, so we will try to create a embedding, guys. Yeah, we will try to create a embeddings, and I will be using a EURI embedding API to convert my data into a respective embedding. So let's try to understand how we can do it. So here, let me do one thing. So let me open up my VS Code, and let's try to write a code in little bit structured way. So here I'm going to call import request, by the way, request request, so that I will be able to request to my EURI for my embeddings and even for my LLMs. This is where this request will be used, by the way. And then import numpy, so just for the data manipulation, so numpy as np. And then so we are going to create a variable over here, so EURI underscore API underscore a key, so that I don't have to do it again and again, copy a key again and again. So I'll be using just this variable, and here so I'm going to keep my EURI API key. So here, go to authentication, copy it and then keep it here, so that wherever key is required, I will be using this key. It's the same key that I have used, right? It's the same key, nothing different. But yeah, I'm just trying to create a variable over here. Going forward, I will even try to show you that how you can try to keep your all the secrets, all your credentials into a environment file. And then even at the time of deployment, so what kind of a measure that we have to take in terms of our deployment. Okay. So this is something that I have done as an import. Now let's go ahead and let's try to convert my entire data into a embeddings, means into a numerical vector space. I will be using a same function, right? Same function. So precise function we have like a created over here. So where, as you can see, this embedding function, get embedding function, you can try to pass your data, right? You can try to pass your data. This is the model name. Now this model name or this model ID is coming from where? So this model ID is coming from here. This model ID is already given to you in this particular place, the highlighted one. So this model ID is coming from here. So I will be using this particular model, and what it will do? Same thing, nothing different. So whatever code that I have given to you inside a EURI application, so we are using same thing. So this is the endpoint. This is the embedding endpoint that we have created from a Euron side. So whenever you are going to hit, so it is going to hit this particular one with a API key. So here EURI API key. So EURI API key, I have already stored it in this variable. So I don't have to copy and paste again and again. So EURI API key, it will try to take, and then here it will try to do a main operation. So input as a text, so whatever data you are going to pass, and then model as a model, this model name that you are going to pass. So this is going to be the payload, and then request.post. So it is going to post with this URL. So where my EURI is hosted, and header is equals to basically this authorization header. It is going to pass, and then it is going to pass a payload. So as a part of payload, so it is going to pass a text and the model. Now this code is coming from a EURI itself, right? This is how you are supposed to hit a EURI. Okay. Now, so whenever you have to convert your entire data, into a chunks, so what you can do is you can try to call this model, right? You can try to call this model, and then you can try to pass your chunks. So chunks 0, if I'm going to pass, just for the testing purpose, I'm trying to show you. So chunk 0, if I'm going to pass. Now what was chunk 0, by the way? So let me show you that once again. So chunk 0 is nothing but one line of information with 100 words, right? 100 words. Yeah, this is the information that we have, as you can see, 100 words. So here chunk 0 I'm going to pass. Now what it is going to return me? So it is going to return me basically a embedding. Execute it. Yeah, execute it. So here, if I have to show you that how this test embedding variable data looks like, test embedding data, so this is how it looks like. So it has converted my entire data. It has converted this entire line, as you can see, right? This entire line over here, it has converted this entire line into this particular data set. So where the dimension of this entire one, so if you are going to check what is the length of this entire vector, so length of this entire vector is 1536. And again, we are trying to print a shape anyhow, right? We are trying to print a shape over here. It's the same thing. So this is how, guys, it is able to convert my data into an embeddings. This is how it is going to convert my data into an embedding. So we have now a embedding function. I just have to pass a data over here, one by one, one by one, one by one, one by one, and then one by one, one by one. So it will start converting my data into its respective embeddings. As simple as that. It's a very simple operation that we are trying to perform. Okay, that's a very simple operation. So now we know that how I can try to take my own chunk and then eventually I can try to convert my own chunk into a respective embedding, which is a very simple and plain operation, right? Which is a very simple and plain operation. So I will be using this function, by the way. So going forward, I will be using this particular function. I'll just try to pass my data, maybe call a loop, and one by one, because we have a multiple chunks, right? We have a multiple chunks. So if I'm going to check how many data we have into a chunks, how many chunks we have. So in total, we have 7 number of chunks as per my data. Maybe you will be having a 7,700,000, whatever it is, whatever is the number. So one by one, one by one, one by one, I'll try to run through the loop, the chunk data, and then I'll try to pass it inside the embeddings, and eventually I'll try to convert those entire data into a embedding. Very, very simple step, very, very simple approach we are going to fulfill. So hope all of you are able to understand that what is the meaning of a embeddings. Embeddings means converting this entire information, as you can see, in this particular vector space of size 1536. 1536 is a return that my model is giving. I can try to use maybe some other model, some other different embedding model. There are tons of model available on a Hugging Face, which you can try to use for embedding purposes. But just to avoid those hustle, just to avoid those a hard work, we have already given you a best of best embedding models. Again, best of best embedding model selection is very much important for any kind of application that you are going to build. Okay, fine. So we are going to use this one. Now, in my next lecture, what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to use this embedding function. So I'm going to use this embedding function, and then I will I'll try to convert my entire chunks into its embedding, a respective embeddings, one by one, one by one, one by one, one by one. And then I will try to store all of those things into a vector database. Now, let me talk about this vector database a little bit. So vector database is a kind of a database, right? It's a kind of a database. So where you will be able to store this information, this particular information you will be able to store. Why we are storing it? We are storing it so that whenever you are going to fire any kind of a query means literally any kind of a query whenever you are going to fire to an LLMs. So what will happen is that it will try to convert your query into a embedding vector again, right? Embedding vector again. It will try to check with all the existing embedding vector which is available inside your vector database. And then it will try to extract those information. Then it will try to attach query plus embedding and send it to my LLM. This is what I have written over here. So whenever you are going to query, so here after embedding, what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to attach over here a vector database. So all of these embeddings will be available where? So all of these embeddings will be available inside my vector database. Whenever I'm going to query, so it will convert this query even into embeddings, and then it will try to do a similarity check with the existing embedding inside my vector database, right? Vector database, and then it will try to fetch the information of a embeddings. It is going to attach with the query, and that will go inside the LLMs. So in a step-by-step manner, we will move so that you will be able to understand how in a real-time RAG application can be built. So with that, guys, thank you so much. Take care and see you again in my next lecture.